The vivid green you see upon arrival through the mirrored portal is almost painfully bright, but sunlight moves through the tops of the trees gently, warmly, as though some painter, some god, took care with each and every ray so that it would illuminate something beautiful at every turn. And as you look down into the woody vale that the path before you seems to lead you to, one of those rays alights on a cottage. Little piping clouds of smoke being drawn up through the chimney into the air. It is a strange sort of lodging, looking both a little ramshackle, a little wayward. The tree branches stretching out and over leaden glass windows. It's also neat as a pin. The well cared for garden, flowers and plants in discreet rows. There's purple lilacs, pink verbena, friendly faces of pansies and vinca, solid, stalwart petunias, velvety, fabric-like silver ragwort, Dusty Miller. Name comes to you so easily, something you haven't thought of for ages. Heart is still racing a little bit, nerves still activated, and you decide to take a look at this book that has caused you so much trouble. Flip through the pages, but the language there is not something you can decipher. Not at a glance, and probably not at all. It's not your book, it's his, or that's the best guess you have at the moment. So you take a deep breath, clutch the book under your arm, and look behind you at the portal. For now, it is gray and inert, especially compared to the bright and verdant world ahead. No amount of tapping or nudging or open sesameing does anything to allow you to go backwards. The only way out is through. As you walk lightly down the slight hill, following the path, you wonder to yourself, the book of the me you hear, this place is so seemingly out of the way, or at least out of whatever way the people in infinity might go, which must be the point. It's an endless trace of birdsong, with the sound of water trickling by somewhere. All the tension of being chased eventually seems to subside with each step until swiftly find yourself at the threshold. No signs to indicate who is the owner of this place. Only more sounds that confirm it is occupied. The smell of lavender and other herbs suffuse the air. The voice of an older woman meets your ears, and you glance about for its source, pondering for half a moment if you've read enough fairy tales in your life to remember to be cautious. Enter the cottage. Almost immediately within a kitchen and a main room. Woman in her mid to late 70s sits in a soft green velour reclining chair, with an electronic tablet in her hand. The woman gestures for you to come closer, her voice soft and comforting, her graying bobbed hair, signs of age that show along the articulations of her fingers. Carefully woven clothing all reminds you every kind older lady you can recall, ones with wisdom behind their eyes, kindly by choice, not because they feel it's required of them. Ah, hello there, dear one. I'm so glad you found your way here. Welcome to my humble abode. I have many names, both within this forest and beyond, but you can call me Helena. You stumble a bit, shaking your head as you speak towards her smile, smelling some baked bread. I came through a mirror and I was being chased. Someone wants this book and, well, multiple people, and she flips the pink cover over the tablet and lays her palms flat on it. I thought so. Every now and again we get a seeker. A seeker, one looking for some true respite, true comfort and calm. And that call draws them here, to me. You look at her a bit dazedly. After a life of such quiet boredom, perhaps this dream was moving too fast. She doesn't rise to take the book from you, but nods to a bookshelf where it would fit neatly, at least for now. You place it there and hear a gentle sigh, sourceless, fills the air. Your shoulders soften and pull away from your ears. For now, what chases you cannot find you here, nor what you carry. I could exchange this period of sanctuary for a bit of work. You will be safe from any hound that hunts you under my watch. But this little hut needs some love and care. Sometimes it seems like it's more than one woman can do on her own. Perhaps we can be of use to one another. Be of use. She points to a bushel of apples over in the kitchen. More apples than you could possibly eat between the two of you, were you to have pies and applesauce for breakfast, lunch, and dinner for a week. Just peel those apples there. Cut them up and toss them into that bowl. She points gently, specifically, to a pair of blue bowls on the countertop. You instantly want to complain about the number of apples. The task was almost Sisyphean, not possible to complete. The bowls seem far too small to collect so many apple slices. But there is a sense of ease here, and the distraction is welcome. Feeler is sharp, and so you settle on the stool and begin. Helena stands up and takes a stretch. This brings me back to when I was a young girl. My mother made simple things, but they were always the best I ever tasted. You ask what this recipe is, what it's for. Make an apple crisp. It'll go well with the dinner once we get all these chores done. She moves not too far to the right, takes a seat in front of a large loom. Pause for a moment to watch her settle into her own work, hands moving faster than you expected to shuttle the threads. She quickly encourages you to continue as well. You reflect gently on how long it has been since you even turned on your oven. An apple crisp, just apple and flour, sugar and butter. It's hard to get wrong. It was worth doing. Simple hunger told you that. You listen to the crunchy flesh of each apple give way to the knife. Now and again, you douse those apples with a squeeze of lemon juice that Helena has provided, and go back to your peeling and cutting till finally the apples are all gone from the basket. You have filled your bowl. It's strange, you say. All those apples have only just filled this bowl. You needed that much work, and I needed this much apple crisp. You blink at the Rumpelstiltskin of it all. But the old woman rises from her own place at the loom. You see, in your busyness, her weaving is just about complete. Rug is like a tapestry, neutral colors moving elegantly in rows throughout. It looks useful, but pretty. Pretty, but useful. Clean up the countertop and sigh yourself. Deeply. There's some hole inside you're just starting to reckon is there. I'm not sure what I'm doing with myself. I am grateful for the rest you're giving me here, but the book and my life, my real life, I feel lost. Words tumble out of you. You can't deny they feel true, though you weren't expecting them to feel so sad. Helena quietly absorbs this. Seems to. You want my advice? Or is this just what it is in this moment? You blink, never having been asked that question before. Swiftly you decide that you could use all the help you can get. Just get up, get moving, be of use. All those strange worries and feelings will move if you move too. Her voice doesn't bear much arguing. She pats you warmly on the shoulder. Feels like she understands because she's been there, or somewhere like it. She's been a seeker too, and there's no judgment in it. She hands you a broom. Bit of sweeping then, like it's some bread started for supper. Can never do with too much warm sourdough. Little dust and dirt is swept off the porch, out into the garden. Carry on for a few minutes, focusing just on the noise and the motion, and less on trying to perfectly clear the flat stones and make a pathway to the door. Your mind turns to the book thief, who he is or could be. Where could he be if not in this dream? And what duty did you have to the bibliomancer bring back the book to her. As soon as you return, you're handed a basket with a dried flower and some gardening shears. Helena instructs you to go out into the woods. It won't be too far a distance from the cottage, and fill the basket with cuttings of the same flower you see, or a tincture she needs to make. You're a clever one, she says. You won't wander off or step in the few brambles about. Just pay attention to the work and you'll be done in a jiffy. The word jiffy bounces around in your mind, making you nostalgic for old memories and simpler times. But you carry your basket with you. You have a clear purpose for a moment, and that helps. You trust Helena in that she has asked much more sensible things from you than the bibliomancer and the book thief. It's not long before the delicate white flower, be it bright, growing in small patches, appears before you. The shears you kneel down, start to clip a bit of stem. The chiffon-like petals soon cover the bottom of the basket. You do focus, moving from patch to patch as you forage. As your mind flits over the wanted signs of the book thief, taste of the bibliomancer's magical coffee, the librarian marching towards you with dark intent in his eyes. You wonder whether dreaming is taking you over. Real life is dull and unsatisfying, but it's still there, waiting for you to get back to it, to make it into something bigger or better. You do want that much. Whenever this ends, you do want a piece like Helena has made, but of your own style, your own place. Night after night, this chase has continued, and you're still somehow surviving. You have the bravery of a storybook character, kind that comes with endurance to face all the obstacles the author deigns to throw in your path. Surely out there, in the grind and bother of your job, in the gray and sigh of your relationships, that strength can be found again too. You stand up with the basket full, feel some of the rays of sunlight move through the trees to fall on you. You stand briefly in the glow, feel it as it warms your skin. Bird song gets louder for a moment. So gently come into communion with yourself. As it starts to fade, head back toward the cottage. Then a small table is set, upon which a loaf of the sourdough sets amongst candles, crockery filled with vegetables, and a fragrant stew. Helena has a seat and pours you each a glass of white wine. She motions for you to come to the table, and you join her. She puts some butter on the bread, which is just warm enough to melt. Everything tastes like... it's impossible to describe other than nourishing. Some hungers you didn't even know your body was capable of being sated. Sigh happily. Helena responds without you needing to say a word. Food, made by design and with love. After eating for some time, tilt your head and ask, "Do you know who the book thief is, Helena?" Between bites, she nods, a smile neither rueful nor particularly amused. "Even in this land, I'll see the signs posted at the market." He's always been a seeker, but never could endure the calm. He searches for a story, the right story that will satisfy his head, make him feel right in himself. You would think, when your father is a librarian, that you'd have your choice of narratives, but 100,000 books taken from kings and fairy realms, and yet something else still calls to him. Do you think a book is really, that it can do all that? I think a story is the only true magic there is. It might be his story that I have brought here. Is it safe here? I haven't brought you any trouble, have I? Oh, he wouldn't harm anyone. Well, none that haven't gone out of their way to harm him. He's a good lad, if hardly a lad anymore. She brings over the baked apple crisp you made and scoops a steamy concoction into a dish in front of you. From another cold canister, she scoops out some homemade vanilla ice cream. Again, you watch the heat melt away the bottom layer so that it trickles down and across your dessert. Almost too full, but you have to try it. Just a few minutes, all the dishes are empty, and Helena smiles. You've done well today. Let's clean all this up. As you tidy up the kitchen, you listen to the rhythmic clinking of dishes as they're washed and stacked. Helena dries them next to you, humming gently and putting the dishes back in the cupboards where they belong. The simple satisfaction in the act of caring for the cottage itself. Comforting surroundings. And you sense whatever sort of witchcraft this is that brings a quiet harmony to fill the air. You hear the sound of water bubbling and some boiling in the kettle. Helena, will he come here? Will he find me, or do I have to... Oh. You yawn, feeling the exhaustion almost reaching your very bones. You finish that up, and we'll end the evening with a steaming cup of tea, brewed with herbs from the little garden out back. My quart is the best help I can give to a seeker. Make what's to come much simpler. You remember it's all under your own power. What am I supposed to do? I don't know, child. But a very wise woman said that patience is a form of action. After all of this, woman notes the sofa, brings you over a mug of the tea. You settle down with it and take a sip. Strong and herbal, no sweetness to make it more palatable, but it feels nice on your throat. I am tired. You say it, and you both know that it is true. Sit down for a moment, and another moment passes. You feel the weight of the wine. Your eyes begin to feel heavy. Some motion. Helena brings you over. The book that you brought with you, places it in your arms. As you lean toward the side and pull your legs up on the sofa to curl up. You'll not be here when you wake. You will return again and again and again, and always be welcome. Feel the softness of a blanket placed around you. Fire continues to crackle, but is slowing. You listen to the soothing melody of the wind chimes from the front porch, swaying in an evening breeze. No effort at all. You are asleep.